The All Nyishi Students' Union was established in the year 1982, and the first president, the former Education Minister, Mr. Dera Natung, was the first one who headed this important students' organization of the Nyishi society. The urge for development and the urge for educational benefit from the establishment of the government slowly and silently started to take its root in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. APSU used to be the voice of the entire student community. But APSU also became quite so strong that state government used to pressurize and interfere into its affairs. Therefore, APSU, the premier student organization of the state, had also suffered because of the interference of the government. Then the Nyishi community, which was very infant, they were spread out to various places in Arunachal Pradesh. There were a lot of communication gaps. Nyishis were scattered. There was no united voice. There were very few in government jobs. Though they were quite big number in the political arena, but the number did not matter much in taking and reaping benefits from the government. Therefore, a strong youth voice started through the institution of All Nyishi Students' Union. I also became so conversant with the ANSU's movement. When I was in Shillong pursuing my 10+2 science stream, I was asked by one brother-in-law, Techi Nyokum, informing me that I should go to Yajaring for an ANSU conference. I just followed him, and at last I had found that there was a unanimous voice for electing me as the General Secretary of All Nyishi Students' Union, and our elder brother Dasartaba became the President of ANSU. After some time, Dasartaba Sahab had to leave the office of All Nyishi Students' Union. I became so handicapped, and I had to struggle to renew the team of All Nyishi Students' Union. Immediately after that, Mr. Akatok was made the president. I was asked to be promoted to the All Nyishi Students' Union presidentship, but I said there is no law ever found in the ANSU bylaw making the sitting General Secretary to get himself promoted to president or vice president when the impeachment or the ANSU president demised the office. Therefore, I remained as General Secretary, and Akatok was inducted into the presidentship of ANSU. There was also a time where there was the issue of Bangni came up. Bangni, they said Bangni is not Nyishi, Nyishi is different. So that situation cropped up. So we had to push Akatok to take the lead to settle the misunderstandings that were available. Accordingly, ANSU became strong and strong and strong, and it was one of that period of time, ANSU became a single voice of the voice of Arunachal Pradesh. Although it originated from a tribe called Nyishi, but it was raising the issues of the Nyishis, the Arunachalis, and Pan-Arunachal movement was seen very clearly in the character of All Nyishi Students' Union. When we were raising the state government, when we were raising all these issues, the state government had arbitrarily taken a decision to transfer the present Kamle district, Raga circle, to Upper Subansiri district, which those days the Nyishis opposed. Although we had a good number of representatives as ministers and MLAs in the Council of Ministers and also in the Legislative Assembly, but there was a time when one-man show was very evident. Nobody was there having guts to raise voice against their own leader. So there was no option. ANSU was the only and only fittest organization to raise the voice of those who were in the downtrodden spectrum of the society. Then I became member secretary of Joint Action Committee on merger of Raga Circle. Bengia Tolom was Nyishi Elite Society president. We made him as the chairman of the movement. So Jakrak piloted the entire movement for the restoration of present Kamle and Raga Circle back to Lower Subansiri district. The intention was not good. So the state government had to finally come to a compromise with Jakrak and ANSU. And finally, we got back the district administrative setup back to Lower Subansiri, but the assembly political segment had to be run by Deputy Commissioner, Upper Subansiri. When such movement was going on, Mr. Biki Talang was the vice president of the, later when I became president, Biki Talang was the vice president. Very interestingly, Biki Talang was driving a motorcycle, a Yamaha, with his nephew on the back. So he was directly hit by a truck, which did not have front lights. Left light was there, but the right light was not there. So it collided and directly hit Biki Talang, the vice president of ANSU. So when state government was going deep against the ANSU movement and its leaders, we thought that this is a conspiracy theory to finish off the ANSU leaders and student leaders. So we had blocked the highways. We had to block the highways. And the present office, Talanghira Memorial place was, we demanded that it should be given to the ANSU. So slowly, when I became minister, the allotment for this plot was made for the All Nyishi Students' Union. When I was president, Mr. Bijoy Sonam, a very, very stout, very strong, straightforward, committed young man, Bijoy Sonam was with me as General Secretary. There was a time when the Nyishis were totally subsided. No voice, leaders would not speak, leaders used to be afraid of meeting ANSU leaders. Even officers used to take time to meet us because we were deadly against the act and activity of the government which was targeting against the Nyishis. Therefore, we had to struggle and we had to raise voice. When local officers were, even in spite, not only Nyishis, when officers were targeted, we raised our voice. So ANSU became so strong that state government used to try to suppress my movement. I was chased, I was asked, I was lured, I was they tried to allure me with positions and power, with money, so many things. But I was very strong, a young man, a young spirited man, studied in good institutions in Shillong. So I knew what is truth, what is justice, and why when I'm carrying 1 lakh youth behind me and with young people behind me in the state, why should I sell out the credential of a well-established organization called All Nyishi Students Union? Then when the All Nyishi Students Union organization became strong, the state government, I don't want to name the government, it was headed by someone, was so inimical to ANSUs, so inimical to the society. Then there was a robbery incident at Bangtinali. Some of our youth, I think, later on, we came to know, were in hobnobbing with some elements from Assam, extremist organization. So there was a dacoity at Itanagar State Bank. Government finding no place, no instrument to put me, to file an FIR against me, linked that case to me, and I was taken to various places in Arunachal Pradesh without any information, without anything. I was leaving for Shillong to attend my law colleges. Then I had my niece and nephews and children. I used to go together, take care of them. Mrs. Lichi was also there. In night super, we reached at Bandadoa. I was asked by the police to come down, to get down, and said that my presence is required at Naharlagun police station. Then I said, it's okay, I'll go. But what about the children? Tickets are already booked. They are on their way to Shillong. Then they said they will take me to Naharlagun police station. But to my utter surprise, the police could not take me across Model Village. Local people had come out and asked, challenging the police, why Mr. Sanjoy, a student leader who used to be very calm and quiet, who never used to pick up quarrel, even for an individual issues, why are you arbitrarily arresting him? They get out, the entire highway was blocked. So police could not take me to Naharlagun police station. I was taken back to PTC, Bandadoa. From there at 9 p.m., I was taken to Zero. We reached early in the morning at around 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, stayed in the police custody. Then I had to be presented before the deputy commissioner, who used to be district magistrate, and a case of TADA, Terrorist and Disruptive Prevention Act was first time put on my name, to a very pious, truthful, clearly visioned student leader. And TADA case was imposed. From there I was asked, agitations broke out in various parts of Arunachal Pradesh, demanding that Mr. Sanjoy should be immediately released and his whereabouts to be told. From Zero, next day again I was brought back to PTC Bandadoa. I thought they will take me to Naharlagun or Itanagar police station. But to my utter surprise again, they took me to Bomdila. On the way, on that night, we had to sleep at Balokpong IB. a piece of linen cloth was placed on the top of the dining table at the IB, locked from outside, no place to go for fishing again. Next day again, I was taken to Bomdila. I was kept there for so long, and after I think nearly 2 weeks of time, they had to bring me back to Itanagar. And there in Itanagar, I have seen the biggest crowd lining up to an activist who fought for the people, who said no to the offer and intimidation of the state government. It was a time where Sanjoy used to listen to the voice of truthfulness. We used to fight for a cause. We never used to come to a compromise with the state government if they intentionally tried to buy off young people. Our mentality was very strong. Our emotion was well cherished. We were properly nurtured and built. And so was the character of all Nyishi Students' Union. We never listened to the face of the money. We never listened to the political offers. We never listened to divert the attention when government used to do a lot of misdeeds. We never used to listen to their wicked voice and activities. Accordingly, we became strong. So all our activities was backed by Kamchi Lela, a team of artists, a prominent Nyishi artists. I remember the lyricist, choreographer, Nabam Tata, was the actor of the first Meri Ma, Meri Dharm. Actor was the man behind the scene. Bengyata, Nabam Vishnu, Tabayal, Nabam Paki. Even sometimes my brother Titus also used to be there with me. I used to go. I was doing the part of the actor, and they were like directors. From my activities, from my truthful works and movement of all Nyishi Students' Union, the Kamchi Lela, the entire big book of songs with meaningful voices came to be called Kamchi Lela, the voice of the horizon, the voice of the people, the truthfulness, the power of the youth. Youth can do. Youth can say no to various bad things. Kamchi Lela came. Ngaga abubur tonglong, ngaga anibarm tonglong. Nguluga lapongam, nguluga hatiam. Our integrity is being destroyed. Our image intentionally being curtailed by the power and corridors of the government. Our self-respect being sold out. Here we must stand together and resist any sort of temptations. And that was a voice called, so interesting, so strong, that we became very strong. Chief Minister and ministers used to be behind us. हम लोग को मिलने के लिए, हम लोग को कैच मिल के बात करने के लिए कोशिश बहुत जारी किया. We never used to go all alone. We never used to. We were never tempted, never ever tempted. And so was the character defined on ANSU. ANSU became a voice, not only an organization. It became a voice. It taught so much of lessons, even to the premier student organization of all Arunachal Pradesh Students' Union. The Northeast students had to recognize the sanctity of ANSU. ANSU fought so much. I remember my brother-in-law, Taratang, ex-minister. He also prepared a song. The Nyokum pillar was demolished by administration. So I led the movement and said, our identity, our culture, our self-respect, our status being questioned by the state government. At Bandardoa, they destroyed, damaged the Nyokum pillar. We led the movement, and government had to calmly come down and bowed before us and said we want to negotiate. Then we find the government with a community hall still available at Bandardoa. A Nyokum ground properly demarcated. Two officials of the state government were invited to fine-tune with the chanting of the priests in that Nyokum ground, with a view in the presence of so many luminaries. So the song and spontaneous voice of Abu Apage, Abu Apage, the voice, the image, and the philosophy of our ancestors had been damaged, had been curtailed, had been pulled down. So now is the time we come united, and we must preserve our rich heritage. This has been challenged through the corridor of administration. So they were fined with a land allotment, community hall costing 10 lakhs, and a school is running. So ANSU was on its own way, and there were artists, singers, and philosophers writing letters, preparing books for the future, preparing songs. Lyricists were on the top of their voice, and was the period where state government had to bow down and say, ANSU is great, ANSU can do it. Now, the youth can only change. This world can be changed only by youth. This state can be changed and guarded by youths. If youths are damaged, if their institutions are destroyed, then our future is very bleak. There is no way out where we can stand against the current of modern science, modern technology, modern development. Therefore, it's a time for the young people of Nyishi society and of the state, the organization like APSU and ANSU have to be in the forefront of each and every individual. then only we can feel. It's not only state government that will save the fate of this beautiful state, sensitive and hot spot of two great nations, India and China. We must protect this heritage. And for this, an organization like ANSU has to be properly built. It has to be nurtured. The glorious past and tradition of ANSU's image has to be brought back. I know it's difficult. Those days, our situation was different. Today, it is a different situation. Development at the forefront, money power in front of us, running vehicles. Everybody wants to have vehicles. But those days, without vehicles, we used to fight. We never used to have an office. The residence or temporary rent house of ANSU President used to be the office of the All Nyishi Students Union. But when I became ANSU President, the Talanghira Memorial became to be the focal point. ANSU's NEFA office building was also an area earmarked personally by me when I was ANSU President. So all these were done only to ensure that the sanctity of ANSU is maintained. ANSU still becomes stable. So many hopes and aspirations are resting on the prestige of All Nyishi Students Union. I am sure young people should be able to cherish the dream of a greater role for ANSU and build this organization to promote unity, integrity, and progress in all specters of life. And Nyishi should be proud that ANSU is still existing. And it can still revive that spirit and save this community and the community of Arunachal Pradesh. I am informed that the 7th Nyishi Youth Convention is scheduled to be held at Segyaring in this year 2023. The theme of which is Infinite Horizon, One Voice to Unleash the Power of Nyishi Youth. And the All Nyishi Students Union has scheduled to launch very many events that include sports, literary, cultural activities, including Miss Nyishi. Then we have panel discussion on various developmental aspects, even on political issues. Then again, there is a provision for constitutional review of All Nyishi Students Union, which according to me, is a very important itinerary for the Nyishi Youth Convention. The constitution of All Nyishi Students Union needs to be properly studied. A very viable review has to be done to ensure that this organization becomes stronger and stronger, and its flag flying higher and higher. It is possible only if the constitution of All Nyishi Students Union and its bylaws are properly drafted and the voice and opinion of ex-ANSU presidents and general secretaries are very important for this. We need to come together and be a driving force in the constitutional review and that is possible with various interactive panel discussion. And we must help before it is too late. This organization should not be allowed to die. If it dies, at least 85% of the voice of the state will vanish. Therefore, I would like to appeal the Nyishi youths to come in big number and be a liberator and participate the knowledge they gained from their institutions, from their experiences. I would personally appeal to the ex-ANSU President and General Secretaries and our former executive members to come in big number. We must be a torchbearer. If something goes wrong with the present ANSU executive, we must come together, keeping aside our political affiliations and our personal urges. We must unite, come together, be a testimony to reform, revive this institution of All Nyishi Students' Union. If the institution of ANSU, the youth, if they are united, Nyishi Elite Society also becomes strong, and other organizations will also become strong, and All Nyishi Students' Union and Nyishi Elite Society, as used to be, can be the moderator of various tribes of Arunachal Pradesh, and crossing the boundary demarcation of Arunachal, we can be also a strong voice in the Northeast. I would appeal each and everyone to pay attention to this convention. Convention for you, for me, for my society, for my state, and for my country. Jai Hind.